It often seems as if peace was some elusive thing that's incredibly difficult to obtain or maintain. But as you'll discover during this course, it's actually the simplest thing in the world. To find peace, all we need to do is look in the right place. And to maintain it, all we need to do is remember to return to that place whenever the obstruction arises. The obstruction is what I call the only thing that gets in the way of your peace right this second. And it's the addiction to watching the movie that is thought. So that movie is playing almost continuously in the mind of almost everyone in the human world. And the compulsion to keep watching, to keep looking, to keep feeding that movie is what I call the obstruction. And I call it the obstruction because all it does is get in the way. It's not really a thing in and of itself. And the obstruction is made up of the same energy as that peace itself. So it only exists as a blockage. I was listening to an Eckhart Tolle class last week, and he was talking about the ego, as he calls it, as being like a knot tied in a hose that stops the flow of water. And he used that analogy because once you untie the knot, then it never was there, essentially. There's no evidence that it ever existed. It was just a tangle within the instrument that's the hose. And the obstruction within us as humans is the same. It's not actually some other entity that's inside you or some object that we call the mind or the monkey mind or the thinking mind that's getting in the way. It's simply that you, as the awareness that you are, keeps paying attention to something that causes you suffering. And I keep doing it too. And it's that addiction to looking at those thoughts that come and go, obsessing over them and turning them into some sort of imagined identity that creates all of our suffering. Within this course, I'm going to teach you how to use body awareness to step really quickly out of that trap. And what you'll discover is as soon as you step out of that trap, then there's some peace there, there's some calm that comes. And when you learn to continually step out of that trap, then the obstruction itself will start to dissolve. And while the shift from thinking to awareness, from confusion to peace, only takes an instant, it can only happen in an instant, the dissolution of that habitual pattern may take some time and some effort to dissolve. But let me be clear that our job here is not to dissolve the block. Our job is to continually return to the present moment, to continually notice that we are that awareness, and to practice directing our attention to the body, the breath, and life this instant. And coming back to that whenever we get tangled up in that world of thoughts. So we don't need to go into battle with the obstruction. We don't need to try and dissolve it or get rid of it. That will happen by itself as our body awareness practice becomes stronger. So if you're ready, let's get started. Let's move beyond this confused and confusing way of living. And let's move into simplicity and peace. And let's not wait, let's do it straight away. Thank you for joining me, for coming on this journey. I really hope it's useful. And I really hope you'll contact me, whether it works straight away or whether you find some challenges, so I can help you with those and I can celebrate with you the transformation that you experience along the path. Thank you, and let's begin.